You mentioned the AFC Championship, and it reminded me of something. You were a holder. Will Lutz, the kicker for the Broncos, admitted after the game that the field goal that was blocked that would have tied the game at 10 and possibly sparked a 5 overtime classic because nobody could move the ball in the snow. Lutz said that they didn't line up far enough back, and if we had it up the other day, it's like 6.5 yards, not 8 yards. Were you ever in a position where you had to guesstimate how far, and what do you do to make sure you get the ball in the right spot if you have any issue whatsoever seeing the markings on the field?
Well, the 1 year I held in games in the NFL was with the Giants, and Morton Anderson was our kicker. And Morton's a great friend of mine and a teammate for a while, and I love him to death. And he's as goofy a guy as they come, and that's his greatness. But I've never been around a more professional person, understanding their craft inside and out. So we spent hours and hours and hours talking about where the ball is going to be placed. Where is it going to be placed relative to the hash marks? We want it on the inside of the hash mark. And, if there's ever a seam in the turf, do you put it before the seam or after the seam and all of that? So, I'd like to say that for me as a holder, it was all about me choosing the spot, but it was absolutely a collaborative effort. And I can see in the moment, when you can't see the markings on the field, I can see how that can be an issue, just sorting out where exactly the ball should go. And, you're looking at the video right now. I mean, it's challenging. It's as challenging as can be to go out there in short order, say, okay, where the heck is this thing? Where do we need the ball to be? And when the ball's at 6.5 instead of 8, stuff like this is going to happen because the trajectory of the ball, it's going to be too flat for too long by the time it gets to the line of scrimmage. So it's a real deal. And thankfully, I had the great Morton Anderson helping me out.
I assumed you held for more than 1 year. I didn't know it was only 1 year, which raises an obvious question. How did it happen if you'd never held before that you held that 1 year?
Well, I held forever. You're always the backup holder. You're the quarterback, wherever I was. When I was in Dallas, Jay Novacek was the holder for years. And Eric Bjornsson, our tight ends, did it, And then it became a punter thing where, punters and kickers, they're always together. So during practice, around the league, a lot of the punters are the holders because the kickers hang together. So, the punter in New York that year, wasn't holding the way Morton wanted him to, so he kind of looked at me. It's really an interesting story. It was Monday night, September 10th, 2001, the night before 9/11. We opened the season in Denver because we had been to the Super Bowl the year before, and it was on, I believe it was on Sunday night or Monday night. It was Monday Night Football, and we missed a couple extra points. Maybe the holds weren't what Morton wanted. And as he came off the field in the middle of the fourth quarter, when he squeaked one in off of a bad hold, he looked at me and said, "You're holding next week." And then, so I'm like, oh God, now I'm the holder. You got to be kidding me. And, ironically, 12 hours later, the world changed. And it's an interesting story because the game the next week was a bye. It was about, they postponed the games, if you remember. And then we go to Kansas City 2 weeks later as members of the Giants. And the emotion of that game is unlike any other when we came back to playing football. And sure enough, the game came down to a kick at the end. And so literally I'm waiting for the ball to come. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I better get this ball down. The fortunes of New York, at that time, they needed the Giants to win. And thankfully we got it down and Morton pumped it through. But certainly an interesting experience to work with a guy like that. He was incredible.
Well, I have a feeling, nothing against Will Lutz or his holder, if Morton Anderson had been the kicker on Sunday in Denver, it would have been 8 yards back. And it would have been a nice clean spot on the grass, and it would have been a fluffy ball. Because that's one thing I remember. Morton Anderson, as you've told me, he liked the fluffy ball.
I like a nice big ball to hit. Make it fluffy. Why are you knuckling it? I mean, he had all these things that he would just wear me out with, and but that's his greatness. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.